Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast here at the CharlotteSportsBlaw.com. I'm Mark Alcagno. Today I'm joined by our lead Hornets writer, Jonathan Hoppy, to discuss this year's NBA draft. And Jonathan, in a draft class that has plenty of talent, who's your favorite prospect that could fall in the Hornets' laps on draft night?
Well, Mark, it's good to be back here on this podcast, and I'll just have to start this off. This is just a lot of fun. I'm really glad that we got the ninth pick, and we're able to preview all these guys, and there's so many different possibilities, and it really, really shows there's a bright future for the Hornets. But for the guys, a favorite of mine now, and it's about a month away, so we still got some time, but I like Gary Harris, particularly because it just seems like he's an easy fit. It would just fit right into the system, and he'd be an upgrade offensively over Gerald Henderson. And, I mean, obviously, to me, there just needs – if we come into next season with Henderson and MKG starting in the starting five, I just don't see how we can improve that much. So I think we need to bring somebody in, whether that's Gary Harris, Doug McDermott. At this point, to me, both of them are pretty even. I'd give the edge to Harris, but I think you can't go wrong with either of those guys. I mean, if we pick at number 9, I have a strong reason to believe it'll be a wing player. Now, some people say, well, what if Julius Randle falls to number 9? It just wouldn't make sense for us to pick another power forward, particularly one who can't shoot very well. So I just don't – I mean, they say draft best available, so it could be possible we could pick Randle. I don't think he's going to fall back to us anyway, but I definitely see us taking a wing player at number 9.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Hornets definitely needed shooting last year, and it was obvious that they had a lack of that. What do you think of Nick Stauskas? He had a great career at Michigan, showed that he could shoot the ball very well. What do you think of him at number 9?
I like Stauskas. I'll be honest. I don't watch much college basketball. I'm not much of a fan. I'm an NBA guy, but I really was not aware of Nick Stauskas, and he can flat out shoot the ball from the film I've watched, and he'd certainly be an upgrade at shooting, at any sorts of shooting. He's a guy that we could definitely use. So, I mean, I think that's a good possibility. Stauskas at number 9 as well. It's just going to come down to McDermott, Harris, Stauskas, which guy just fits in the best to our system.
Yeah, and well, there's a draft class with plenty of talent on our hands, and there's the age-old question of who's going to be the first overall pick. Who, in your opinion, is going to go off the board first?
Well, with this top 3, anything could happen, and it probably, we don't know if Cleveland's going to pick number 1. A lot of talk they could trade, but either way, I like Wiggins at number 1. I just think he's got too much talent, and you'd be a fool to pass on him at number 1. Number 2, I think a lot of people have Embiid going to the Bucks. I like Jabari Parker to the Bucks. I think he'd fit perfectly in with the Bucks. I think he's what they need in Milwaukee. So if he's available, I think Jabari Parker will be a Buck. And then number 3, Philadelphia, you'd have to think they'd take Embiid, which would be, best available left on the board. But, I mean, you never know what could happen. Philadelphia, they're rebuilding, so they'll make the best pick. And it'll probably be Embiid. But, so I like Wiggins, Parker, Embiid, top 3.
It's a fair projection. And moving on to free agency, what are some potential moves that you can see the Hornets making this summer?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about Lance Stevenson lately. And I just don't know if the Hornets should go after him. There's 2 sides to this argument. Some people are going to say, you know what, we need Lance Stevenson, somebody to come in and be a facilitator, mess with people, get in people's heads. I don't know about that. We hear a lot about how good this locker room is with Charlotte last year. And I just don't know if Lance Stevenson will fit in. And so if I'm general manager of this team, I'm not really looking to pursue Lance Stevenson and give him as much money as he's going to get. I just think that's too big of a risk right now. So I'm out with Lance Stevenson. I'm looking other ways. You look at somebody like Chandler Parsons, who is a restricted free agent from Houston. Guy can shoot the ball. He'd be a nice fit at our small forward. And you look at other guys in the free agent scale, someone like Ramon Sessions, backup point guard. That's obviously something we need. And then really I think an underrated aspect of this offseason is going to be if the Hornets can get a solid backup to Al Jefferson. I just don't think it's going to be Bismack Biyombo. And it's funny, I'm sure most of you are aware, but he actually got sued by some man in Yemen. And the man claimed that Biyombo was to pay him 10% of all his earnings if the man got him to the league, which ultimately he did. So that's another story. But I think there's a lot of possibilities, and if we don't draft a point guard in the draft, I think you're going to have to, fill a void at backup point guard. An upgrade over Ridenour would be Sessions, who has said before that he'd like to come back. So there's really a lot of possibilities. Luol Deng, I don't see him coming to Charlotte. And there's a lot of other guys. I mean, there's endless opportunities. And then back to my trade for Afflalo, I think I'd still like that trade. I just think Afflalo brings exactly what we need. He brings experience, the guy that could come in the lineup now, where if you get Gary Harris and expect him to be your, two of the future, it's probably going to take him at least 1 year to transition, where Afflalo can come in, he can shoot lights out, and he just fit right into our two-hole. But we'll see what happens.
Well, there certainly will be some holes to fill this offseason. And well, everybody, that's it for our podcast here at the CharlotteSportsRely.com. Be sure to check back for all things Hornets and Panthers all summer long. Thanks for listening.